Hello and welcome to SGen Tech Forum. So you have installed CML, but you do not want yourself to restrict only with Cisco switches or Cisco software. In this video, we are going to install a third-party switch, namely Arista switch within our CML install. And to do so, what you have to do, you have to go and sign up uh, at Arista's portal so that you have a login available. And from there on, we are going to download virtual EOS images, and that is like two type of image as you can see here, a boot image and 4.32, that is the latest version. Go ahead and download a qcow2 type of the file. Oops, my login expired. Let me log in again. Software download. From software download, go to VOES lab, virtual EOS lab, and you can see we have a boot and 4.32, which is the latest one. So we want to download the latest a boot image, which is a boot image, and then software, actual software. So we have 32-bit and 64-bit available. I'm going to go ahead and download a 64-bit image for our lab. And mind it, Arista require you to create a login so that they know who you are and why you are developing the image. And a Gmail based login is not available, so use your work email ID. And as you can see, we have our A-boot image downloaded and saved in that local folder. And we have VEOS 64 and 32-bit images available here. Now we are going to use a utility called DD, convert and copy a file, with argument of if, like a read input from file and save it to output. So if and off we are going to use, you can see DD, I'm saying that a boot serial image, transfer it to dot image extension, copy and convert, and that is done. As you can see with list command, you can see I have now a dot image format of a boot. With that, when the next utility what we are going to use is Kemu. So if you don't have a Kemu installed, this is how you can do Kemu install. If you are on Mac OS, use Homebrew, and it is going to pour Kemu on your system, or download and install Kemu in your system. To use Kemu command, use Kemu-image, and we are saying that convert that image what we just created with DD to a qcow2, because for a boot we didn't get a qcow2 from Arista. That's why we needed DD and Kemu image to get qcow2 for a boot. For regular software, we already have a qcow2 available, because qcow2 is an image type you need within CML when you are creating image definition. Now let's go back to our CML. From tools, go ahead and select node and image definition. Here, all existing image nodes are there. Go ahead and say add. So we are adding a new node definition. Now we have to fill in some parameter. Not all the parameters are mandatory. So I'm going to show you the minimum and essential parameter you need this. So let's start with the general one. Give it a name. And we are going to call it VEOS, that is virtual EOS. This is an Arista EOS image. Nature, select the nature, whether it's a router, it's a switch, it's server, so it is a switch. And then we are going to say create new image definition. So now we have declared our node, which is a switch, type switch. Now we are talking about the image itself. All right. Say add, and now we are going to fill in some of the essential parameters like general ID, VEOS, give it a description. This is an Arista switch. Nature, it's a switch. So let's go ahead and select that. And then we will scroll down, give it a prefix. Same thing, like what you want to call it. If you want to select any icon, you can select an icon. That's how it will be displayed in CML Workbench. You can assign a label to this. That is purely optional. Now, Linux native simulation. What is it? Domain driver, do you need KVM or none? We are going to use KVM. Then simulation driver, server, because it's a third party. And disk driver, it's a virtualized image, so it's actually word IO. Assign some memory. I recommend 2 GB. As you can see, it's in MB, so 2048, that's 2 GB. Allocate some CPU, so we are going to say 2 CPUs, and then CPU limit 80%. Network driver, choose E1000 because our disk driver is virtual IO. Then we have a data disk size, boot disk size. Not all parameters are mandatory, hence we will stick to the bare essential ones. For interfaces, let's go ahead and create a loopback interface. So when device boots, it has a loopback interface, and we call it loopback 0. However, you need serial port, and at the same time, you need physical interfaces also. So minimum number of physical interface, that is up to you. I'm going to say 8. As you can see, you can have infinite number of interfaces, but then again, it uh, limits by the CPU and resources. So I feel 8 is good enough. And then default number of physical interface is 8. And at the same time, you need to declare those interfaces. Not saying 8 is not enough. You can actually click add interface 8 times and may bring that many number of interfaces here and name them. So you're going to call your interface gigabit ethernet and whatnot. You need to declare that here in node definition. Add a boot line, and this is for our boot. You can say localhost login, and you can provide a boot timeout, that once you start to boot your switch, how much time it can try to boot before it give up. So 480 seconds here. You can optionally enable PyATS, and this is all the properties, whatever value you have uh, declared, you can see those things are toggled. That means you are actually using that. And I'm saying create, but there are some issue, and I think some mandatory parameters are missing, like disk driver. I have been saying that we want to use word IO, but it was not selected. So let's go ahead and select that. It's like filling up a form, and with mandatory and optional parameter, sometime you miss something which is mandatory. So let's go ahead and select word IO here. I'm going to go ahead and try to create again. We can see one of the required field is empty or has invalid data. Scroll me to that, and you can see we have added 8 interfaces, and I was under impression that interface 0 name is already populated, but that's not the case. CML allow you uh, a flexibility to call whatever you want to call this interface. So for interface 0, because we are going to use external connection, let's create a management interface, and rest of the interface we can call it Ethernet 1, 2, 3, and so on. We need to populate all the interfaces here, all the way from 1 to 7 with one management interface. Let's go ahead and say create. Created new definition. So we have created a new node definition, allocating all the resources and how the uh, node will look like. Now it is time to add image. So now we'll go ahead and create a image definition for the same node. Manage image upload. So go ahead and upload the images what we downloaded from Arista and converted in QCOW. So we will going to upload a, a 64-bit QCOW2 which we downloaded directly from Arista, and we are going to upload a boot image converted into QCOW2. So those are the two images you need to upload to CML. And depend on the size of the image and how you are accessing CML, this uploading can take some time. And that is the reason we are doing voiceover here, because I don't want you to um, stuck watching uploading the image. So we have both the images uploaded. Now let's go ahead and name this image. I want to make sure that I define the software version number so that after 6 months, we know that what is the software version we are using. Disk image 1 and disk image 2. Now once you toggle here, you will see the images available. So disk image 1 is going to be A boot versus disk image 2 is going to be our regular 64-bit switch software. So first we uploaded, then we created a image definition and selected disk image 1 and disk image 2. With that, you can say create image definition, pick a node, and we already created the node just before that, right? So pick that node. This image will be attached to this node. And now our image definition is complete. So we have, first we created a node, then we created an image, and we then tied them together. At this point of time, we are ready to use the image. You can go back to CML, go to your lab. As you can see, we have all the Cisco software here. But now, if you want to add a third party, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and delete this so that our workbench is clean. We are going to go ahead and add the newly created switch, which is VEOS. And then go ahead and start this. Just like our Catalyst or Cisco switches is going to boot, and we can watch the boot in console. It's booting using the image what we uploaded. Starting new kernel. Welcome to Arista Network 4.32, and the architecture is 64-bit architecture. So this is how it actually initialized. It's booting fine. We're good. Completing EOS initialization. Now you should remember that Arista switches are zero touch provisioning capable. That means it's like a PNP in Cisco. So when they first boot up, they try to do a PNP or ZTP. However, you can cancel that anytime by saying zero touch disable or zero touch cancel within a CLI, and then log in using the local username admin. So I have set zero touch cancel. Once you do a zero touch cancel, switch will actually reboot, and then it will come back as a regular switch. So here you can see I have done the zero touch cancel. I skipped the booting part, but here we are logged in again using the username admin, and we have all those interfaces what we created available. Now you can go to conft and start configuring those interfaces. So our switch is available for use, available for configuration. You can start configuring the switch. You can start adding it to the other parts of the network. Say, for example, let's bring up another Cisco switch or router here. Let's bring maybe a CAT 9K UDAP so that we can compare switch to switch. And then you can do add link. Select which link you want to connect. So you don't want to connect management to management. So we are going to use the first interface available from both the switches, connect them together. You're good to go ahead, start the catalyst switch and start your configuration. So this is how simple it is with getting started with a third-party switch, given you have the right software available, and you keep on adding new nodes and play with CML and make it your production-like ecosystem. So I hope you like this video. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.